Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to introduce our 2023 anthology authors. The book is going to be called The Ones Who Flew the Nest, and I'll hand over to our authors to tell you a little bit about their stories.
Hi, I'm Helen Kennedy. My story is called The People's History Museum is Closed. It's a story about a brother and sister who've been separated by forced adoption and affected by the care system in Manchester in the 1970s. And this story is set 50 years later as the sister is making a journey back to Manchester to meet up with the brother she lost and reveal a dark secret really about their past. The story is rooted in Manchester. Its history from the Moss Side riots up to the present day. And Manchester's definitely a character in the book. The journey we make through the English landscape really helps the narrator to reflect on her memories and also what was important from the past. So it's an uplifting story of really finding our way back to the people we love.
My name's Katie Hale and I am a poet and novelist, and my story in the anthology is called You Can Let Yourself Be Swept Away or Else Become the Flood. And it's a story set in Carlisle, so it's very much about kind of borderlands and being on the edge of things and also being between states. So it's the story of a girl or a woman who goes to university and is struggling with the displacement from where she was brought up in Leicester and struggling with grief as well, and trying to kind of find her own new life in Carlisle at university when she meets a goose. And there's a kind of folkloric element to the story and elements of transformation. I don't want to say too much to give it all away, but she forms a relationship with this goose, and that sort of brings her out of herself and also kind of back into herself as well. It centres partly as well around the Carlisle floodings and around the kind of Carlisle border landscape as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
So I'm Jacqueline Ward, and I'm based in Oldham. I write novels and short stories. My short story in the anthology is Dancing Not Floating. And in Dancing Not Floating, it's a long short story about Callista, a woman who shines too bright for some people. It begins when she was a small child and charts the story of the way people stamped on a flame and the effect that had on her, and ends in a way, well, you have to read the ending yourself. I wanted to draw out the way women are meant to feel, and how they have to dumb themselves down to fit other people's agendas, both society and other people's. I'm not Callista, and Callista's not me, but I felt that feeling, and I hope that I've managed to put it into words for you.
Hi, I'm Louise Finnigan. My story, Ivy Wife, is perhaps slightly speculative, slightly magical realist in some ways. It takes place in an imagined near future in a world where movements like tradwife have become much more prevalent. My character is absorbed into this movement and leaves or chooses to leave a very senior position in work to stay at home, look after her husband, look after the house, look after the garden, and continue to try for a baby, which is something they've been doing for some time. And the story is really about the inner conflict, this kind of huge inner conflict that she experiences, because she realizes that nothing feels natural to her anymore. So being at work and working herself to death whilst also, focusing on her fertility, that doesn't feel natural to her. But being at home in this newly narrowed world that this movement has built for her, that doesn't feel natural either. So she's spending lots of time in the garden amongst the ivy and the trees and the flowers, and she's listening to a podcast constantly called Hearthwife that reiterates all the ideals of this movement that she's joined. And it's about my character kind of untangling all these contradictions and breaking out and finding a way to be in the world, which I hope is interesting to people and unexpected. Thanks.